guys, it's Will. It's Hong Kong Cinema Appreciation Society. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, welcome and thank you for finding us. If you feel like subscribing, giving us a thumbs up and a comment and all that fun stuff, it would be much appreciated. I know I say it every time. I promise you it really does help. Welcome back to the study. It's been months since I recorded a video in here. The weather is finally cool again. As you can see, I'm in basically a glass box, so it gets really hot in here in the summer, but it's cool again and I can film again in here. And what are we here to talk about? I'm very excited about it. Hell to the yes! Police Story 3, Supercop. I'm going to ask a question in this video, and then I'm going to try to answer that question, and then I invite you. This is the Eureka release, obviously. Then I have the 4K Blu-ray set right here, which you can, if you want to see it. It's going to leave a big old hole. That's what she said. Woo! There we go. And let me just show you the... that's the first one. Come on, Will, what are you doing? There it is. Woo. So, actually, if you want to see something cool, I don't know, do you want to see something cool? Should we go off the rails before this video is even really, started? I have this right here. I've already shown this off on the channel, but in case you missed the video, this is a Hong Kong DVD box set. Shout out to FJ DeSanto, who sent this to me. The man, the myth, the legend. Who has now done some audio commentary tracks with Frank Jang. Actually, they're on, the two of them are on each film on this bad boy. So check that out. So FJ sent this to me. And so here is, if I can get it out, I can show you. That's what she said. Well, we're like less than 2 minutes into this video. And it's already just completely out of control. If I can get it out. Wah, wah. There you go. So that's the disc from there. So so here's my question to you. And then I'm going to go about answering this question kind of in the way that I have thought about answering this question as I've been preparing this video. My question to you is Police Story 3, Supercop, the ultimate action film of all time? So what do I mean by that? I don't mean the best. I mean the ultimate. So let me go about answering this question for you. What would make it the ultimate action movie? Essentially, everything that you would want from an action film is present in this movie. And it's handled exceptionally well. And in a way, I think you could argue that this film is like the example. If you were like an alien and you came to Earth and you were like, I can only watch one action film, what should I watch? I might point people at Police Story 3. So let me tell you why. Number one, fighting, right? So it has amazing fighting. And the stunts in the final act of the film are just mind-blowingly incredible. The car chase, the helicopter, the jumping of the motorcycle onto the train that Michelle Yeoh does. Michelle Yeoh hanging off of that van while they're driving through traffic, while the helicopter's shooting at them, while Jackie Chan is chasing them. Like, just incredible stunts. There's great fight scenes in this movie. There's not as much fighting hand-to-hand combat-wise as you got in the first two Police Story films, but I still think that the fight scenes are very good in this film. But what this film introduces, I think, on an other level than previous Jackie Chan films is the gunfighting. Stanley Tong is really fantastic at directing gunfighting, and I think he's very obviously influenced by John Woo, and he brings that heroic bloodshed thing to the table in this film, and there are exemplary gun battles in this film. There's a lot of great gunplay, and I think that this is an amazing film at combining the martial arts stunt work with the gunfighting. And, you know, a lot of later films obviously did tons of that, where you have movies like The Raid, right, which is an incredible example of that. But I think that this movie does that so well, and I think it takes, the stunts are on another level, right? If you look at a movie like The Raid, you could say the fighting and the gun battles are incredible, but the stunts are not there at the level at which they're there in this film. It just has everything. Something else that I think is fantastic about this film is that it has very serious moments, but it's also very funny. A lot of action movies have humor in them, right? And that's something that's important to the action genre because it helps break up the monotony of the violence, and it also adds personality to character and to tone and stuff like that. But you also don't want a completely frivolous film. You want badass action and you want to take it seriously. This film does both of those. And where I think you see Stanley Tong being an incredible director in this film is the way he handles the transitions of tone. I think he is a huge huge boon to Jackie Chan and what Jackie's trying to accomplish in this series, in this film. Because you don't have, in so many Hong Kong films where you have comedy and violence, you have really jarring traditions. Yes, Madam is a great example of that comes to mind right away, right? The transitions in that movie are just ridiculous, right? And I'm not trying to mock that movie. Oh, it's a fantastic movie. I'm really excited that Eureka is putting it out. I'll be talking more about that film in December when that release drops. But it's like insane how that movie switches from slapstick comedy to like brutal, violent tragedy. Stanley Tong does an incredible job in this film at moving from comedy to serious threatening violence and back. Let me give you an example of this. There's the scene where they go to the kind of the hideout. Yuen Wah and Jackie Chan escape from the prison camp and they go to this pig farm and they go to the hideout and they find the other bad guys. This is a very sinister nighttime scene. Yuen Wah executes someone. It's rain. That's not a spoiler. It's raining. It's dark. It's creepy. It's malevolent. It's violent, right? The next full sequence in the film is the one where Jackie goes home, right? He's undercover, so he goes to his like traditional home in the countryside in China, and it's a very funny scene where Uncle Bill is playing his mom, right? So he's like cross-dressing, and there's all this goofy humor and there's all these ridiculous jokes in it. And these sequences come back to back. So how do you handle going from that sinister, truly like creepy violence to this like flat out comedy? There's a transitional scene in between these sequences where they're driving in the car and Jackie's asleep and they wake Jackie up and we're like, is this where we're going? Like, you have this moment that's neither brutal nor comedic that bridges these two sequences. And Stanley Tong, I think, does an incredible job of handling the movements between the comedy stuff and the serious stuff. And it makes for a really tremendous coherent piece that is a really phenomenal film. And I think that and something else actually that I think is worth mentioning in terms of this being like an ultimate action movie is the buddy cop genre and the kind of the buddy film in general, I think is really essential and central to like classic 80s and 90s action films, right? So you have the Lethal Weapon films, you have Beverly Hills Cop, which is not really like a buddy film. He has like a partner, right? And then you have films like Red Heat, and you have all of these movies where you have characters and either a co-protagonist situation like Lethal Weapon or like a sidekick situation where you have another character who's there throughout the whole film who's essential to the rapport, the humor, characters are so important to these films because characters are what build continuity across them, but ultimately also it's what audiences are attracted to, right? You love the action, you love the fighting and all that stuff, but what really holds it together is that you care about the characters, because otherwise, why would any of it matter, right? And the fact that you've got Jackie Chan and Michelle Yeoh essentially playing co-protagonists and that they're both very well-rounded characters with great performances from the two of them, I think adds tremendously to this film. And there's just so many aspects of this film that play to, the international drug trade. That was such a huge staple of these films in the 80s and 90s, right? And that's what this film is about. And moving from like the country to the city, the diversity of locations, introducing multiple villains, incredible action sequences, constant excitement moving around the world. I really think that A Police Story 3, Supercop, is like the ultimate action movie, because I don't think there's anything in there. I'm just showing you the Eureka releases, and this is also coming to, there's a standalone release coming to Region A, I think in December. I don't know the release date of that one, but so these are the Region B releases, obviously. But I think it's the ultimate in a lot of ways, and I'm not saying it's the best, obviously, because that's a lot of ways that comes down to subjective taste, but also there's more factors involved, I think, in picking like what you would call the best. But in terms of everything that you love about action movies that identifies and exemplifies action films in that era is in that film, and it's done exceptionally well in that film. So that's kind of what I mean by that. So let me know in the comments what you think about that, which is something I've been thinking about since I rewatched it. My name is Will. You are watching Hong Kong Cinema Appreciation Society. I thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.